news out of Lansing when it comes to safer driving laws. A bipartisan group of legislators recently passed a package of bills that pertains to distracted driving. And we all know smartphones and technology keep moving forward so rapidly. Tom Sinas from Sinas Dramus Law Firm joins us. Hi, Tom.
Hi, Todd. How are you?
I'm well. I just got my new smartphone. And as I mentioned, smartphone technology just is moving faster than everything else. How has Michigan's laws kept up with that technology?
Not very well is the short answer. And why do I say that? Well, let me read for you what the current state of law is regarding distracted driving and devices. It says a person shall not read, manually type, or send a text message on a wireless two-way communication device located in their hand or their lap while operating a motor vehicle that is moving on a highway or street. So think about that for a minute. It means that you can't send or read a text message while your car is moving, which arguably means you can send a text message while you're at a stoplight, which is a really bad idea. But more importantly, it says nothing about doing things like being on social media, watching YouTube videos, playing video games on your phone, et cetera, et cetera. None of that is captured in the statute. And it goes to show how out of date this law is with our current technology, because of course, everyone knows that long gone are the days where the only thing you can do on your phone is send a text message. We can do everything on our phone. And we have really nothing in our statute right now, hopefully we will, to address that change in technology with these computers that we carry around in our pockets.
Now let's talk a little bit about that change. What happened recently in Lansing that could affect this?
Well, Lansing has been trying to change this law for a long time, and we've talked about it on air over the years, but we finally got a breakthrough that I hope is significant. This came out of the House of Representatives, as you said, and it was a 75-26 vote. So it passed by a wide margin and it was bipartisan. The package of bills that we're talking about here are known as House Bills 4277, 4278, and 4279. And these passed the House on January 25th, which means they go on to the Senate. And if they pass the Senate, then they go to the governor's desk. And so the big change here is that this legislation would make it illegal to use a mobile device that's not in a hands-free mode, really for any reason. Now, there are the exceptions that you would hope and that you would think would be there. So, there are exceptions, of course, for first responders. There's an exception for allowing people to use devices in hands-free modes or through the technology built into the car that allows it to use it on hands-free mode. People can do things like look up a phone number. But the basic idea here is that what it makes illegal is the use of a mobile device in a car. And it also goes on to specifically say, thankfully, that you cannot check your social media on your cell phone in the car, and you cannot watch, stream, or take videos while you're driving. Again, all of these things are things that you hope people don't do, but we do know, unfortunately, that people are doing them. So the idea here is to get in step with so many other states and the rest of the country to make the use of a mobile device illegal while you're driving, unless you're doing it specifically in that kind of hands-free manner, and to make it clear that no, you can't be checking your social media and YouTube accounts when you're supposed to be driving a car.
So it sounds like they're sharpening up the ambiguity of the law right now, making it more, applicable to today's technology. How does distracted driving factor into personal injury claims?
That's a great question. So what you and I are talking about is a change to the motor vehicle code, meaning the laws about what motorists can and can't do. And violations of the motor vehicle code can be used as evidence in a car crash case that somebody was negligent, meaning failing to exercise that basic reasonable safety standard. So if you can show that somebody violated the motor vehicle code, that's evidence of their negligence. However, you don't have to show the violation of the motor vehicle code to prove someone was negligent. And it's, as you can imagine, it's very common in a practice like mine to get into evidence about whether one of the drivers was using a cell phone. Because it's very easy, of course, for a jury to understand that if someone causes a crash because they were checking their text messages or Facebook or whatever it may be, they weren't focused on their driving. If somebody is engaged in that kind of distracted driving, and you can prove that they were, then that there is evidence that people were not exercising that basic reasonable degree of safety. So the takeaway here, of course, the big takeaway, of course, is people need to drive safely. Using a cell phone, I think we all know, is not safe when you're driving. But the other takeaway here is, regardless of what happens in Lansing, I do hope personally these bills pass the Senate and are signed by the governor. But even if they aren't, using your cell phone while you're driving in a distracted manner can subject you to serious civil liability if you cause a crash, because it isn't a stretch to argue that when you're focused on your phone and not the road, you're not exercising that kind of reasonable safety that you're required to exercise under our basic, what we call our common law.
Well, it sounds like if anyone out there has recently been in that type of accident or wants more information, they could reach out to you because you've got all the info. How can they get a hold of you?
They can find us online at www.sinusdramus.com. They can shoot us an email at info@sinusdramus.com or give us a call, preferably not when you're driving, at 616-301-3333.